from the male perspective, once it goes past, let's just say a year or two, there develops this dynamic of I need to ask permission from the boss. And I find it so frustrating and annoying, and I would never tolerate that. I would never be okay with that dynamic of like, what do you mean you need to ask for permission? Don't you know each other well enough, and is the relationship not robust enough where you can just have a conversation about it? Like, maybe there will be a scheduling conflict, but like if you just plan around it, you can probably like get through it. This shouldn't be a thing, right? But it's so fucking common. It's like, it really irks me because I don't think anybody wants that dynamic. I don't think a woman wants to be looked at from her partner or from anyone else like she's some controlling bitch. And I don't think any guy actually wants to be in a dynamic where he's like controlled. Well, maybe some people like to be tied up, but like in a certain setting that's okay for them, but they wouldn't want their whole lives to feel like restricted.
Yeah.
What do you think from all that? Am I off base?
No, I agree with
Do you hear that a lot with your clients as well?
Yeah, I think people often face that. I think it's quite common in relationships for you to feel like you need to ask for permission. I think there's another level to it as well of, so even with us, right? We don't ask each other for permission, but maybe it's because we both care quite deeply about how the other person feels. So then we would be considerate anyway. Like we would keep trying to check and see, it's not like permission, but it's like, is he happy and supportive for me to be doing this thing? Or is it a little bit difficult or inconvenient or not the best? Right? So we don't ask for permission, maybe because we trust that both people care enough to think about that. So maybe then with the people who do ask for permission, why does it become that?
Yeah,
like a permission thing?
I think it is skirting around this insecurity thing. I don't think it's always about jealousy, but I think we try and find the best patterns to deal with each other's insecurities, right? So as you were talking about that, it made me realize that actually we probably have the opposite issue. Instead of asking for permission, where we get stuck is I will think too much and you will think too much about what would he want, what would she want. And then we end up in holes, but I did all this for you. Yeah. And then we'll have a fight about that, right? So it's not like we don't have it's
almost like the opposite issue.
Yeah, we have an issue. It's just the opposite issue of this permission thing, right? Yeah, but I'd like to explore that, the permission thing. I'm quite certain it's typically about, like from a guy's perspective, I know that if I want to, go play golf this weekend, I got to make sure I don't piss her off throughout this week, meaning I will also put off that conversation, and I will also like take her out for dinner, and I will also do all these things to butter her up so she feels special and taken care of. So when I ask the question on Thursday evening after I've wined and dined her, she'll be like, yeah, okay, go and do your boys thing, whatever. But really, it's just like trying to work around her, what you think she needs to feel special and taken care of and prioritized, maybe. So maybe it's not that bad of a thing. Maybe it's not that bad of a thing to have this. Maybe we just talk about it like a ask for permission type of culture, but actually maybe it is thoughtful. I don't know, like what is it really?
No, because now as you're speaking, I'm kind of thinking in our own weird way. We wouldn't call it asking for permission, but I know that from my side, if I'm going to want to do something big, firstly, I wouldn't ask you if you were in a bad mood. Like I would definitely wait until you were in a better mood. I would try to make sure that when I asked you, it was not in a time where you were pissed off at me, for sure. So then isn't it kind of the same? It's just that we don't call it permission.
Yeah.
It's like if we phrased it for ourselves, we probably call it making sure he's cool with it. right?
Checking in.
But checking in,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is it maybe just the same
Maybe
thing?
it's the same.
And then if it's
maybe the issue is ours, and we got issues with like control and authority and permission. Maybe that's the bigger issue.
yeah, I mean, neither of us like that stuff, so we don't call it that. Maybe.
And maybe we don't call it that because like I won't do it to you because I don't want you to do it to me.
yeah, like, bitch, don't you dare make me ask for permission.
Maybe.
But then, if that is the case, then I do understand it, because basically all it is trying to be considerate, try to make sure that that you're supportive, and I will feel happier going if I know you're supportive of it.
Yep.
If I know you're annoyed or like just don't think it's a good idea, I just won't have a very good time. So that's what I'm generally looking for.
Yeah, I think maybe the takeaway then is more like, it doesn't matter what you call it as long as both parties are okay with it. And if both parties are okay with it and you can do it in a way where it's not me versus you, but it's a same team sort of dynamic, then call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? It's your relationship.
But if it becomes that sort of competitive thing where it's like, fine, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do this, I think if it gets really ugly. It's just like, fine, you're going to go even though I don't want you to go. All right, then next time I'll do this and I'll do that. Which I think sometimes it does get like catty or vengeful or competitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's
how you like accelerate the drift, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or the bitterness or the resentment, right?
And if people find themselves in that sort of a pattern, what kind of questions can they start asking themselves, and what kind of prompts can people have in mind when they're trying to like connect about it and like trying to solve that issue or like change that pattern?
To be honest, I feel like it's always the same answer. It's just like go deeper, right? Like ask, why did I feel so vengeful about that situation? Like what was really beneath me? Like saying, fine, go if you want. Like, because you didn't mean fine, go if you want, right? Like what you actually meant was what?
Fine, if you're going to show me that other people are more important than me, then I'm going to go find other ways to feel good and important.
Yeah, or when you want to feel good and important, you're damn well not going to, because I'm not going to make you feel it. Right?
What does that serve, that vengeful sort of response?
It makes you feel like you made me feel this way. Yeah. You get a taste of your own medicine.
Yeah, I think the important question to ask yourself there is, what value does that bring? So it might give you that bit of a rush, almost like self-protective, like I showed him or I showed her, but it doesn't add value to the relationship or to your experience of life in any way beyond that initial rush. In fact, it digs you into a deeper hole.
Because then you're both...
Yeah, and it's not like even before the pattern becomes entrenched, it becomes like a tit for tat sort of thing. It feels like toxic to your heart and mind, because instead of skewing for collaboration and cooperation and understanding and building trust, you are putting money into the other bucket, which is, I don't even know what to call it. It would drive distance between you and your partner.
Disconnect.
Yeah, it will drive disconnect, right?
Wedge, yeah.